Hello, a very good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss this particular question, which was reported on the 3rd September 2022, and this was asked in the morning session. So this is a discussion question. Some people think that modern games can help children to develop a wide range of skills, but others think that traditional games can be much better for developing such skills. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So we have two specific arguments. The first argument is that modern games, which can help children develop a wide range of skills. The second argument is others when they think that the traditional games can play a much better role in doing these things. So we need to discuss both these things objectively, and we need to give our own statement, and we need to prove it. And this is what we are intended to do in the essay. We do have three presentations here. So I am not here with just one presentation. We have traditional ways, traditional games on one side, we have modern games on the other side, and we have a neutral presentation at the end. So let us go with the presentation number one. So here we are going to see in favor of traditional games. That's response number one. So let's go ahead with the introduction. There exists a controversy whether modern games or traditional games help children in developing skills which they need in future. Although both are important in doing this, it seems that the latter argument has more relevance today. So here we have presented that there is an argument in the first sentence, and we have presented both the arguments, modern games and traditional games, in relation to the developing skills, the development of skills in children. So I've said both are important, but the latter argument has more relevance today in this present situation. The latter argument, that is the argument which supports the traditional games, has more relevance these days. So this is what we have just said, two sentences and these sentences. The first sentence is the argument presentation, and the second is my own thesis, which I'm going to prove in the essay. Now let's go ahead with the first part, the first particular paragraph that's in favor of the modern games. Yes, you can see that the subject is very clear there, that the former group. So on the one hand, the supporters of the tradition, on the other hand, the supporters of traditional games. Here, the former group highlights that they are designed in such a way to suit the lifestyle of modern children. So here they are telling it is much needed skills for today's children, like communication, problem solving, and socialization. So both these paragraphs, both these opposing paragraphs have a subject. Here is the subject number one, that's a former group. Here is the subject number two, that's the supporters here, traditional games. Now we have the subjects and we do have the points here. The main point is here, the main point is here. So these things are developed in the coming paragraph, in the paragraphs, to be precise. Today's children have less time to play, and most of them are likely to stay indoors. So this is a problem here. The situation is very different these days. And it's difficult task to entertain children satisfactorily within these limitations. We do have less time and they would be staying indoors, and this is a challenging situation, and this can be solved only with modern games. And this modern games provide the most appropriate games, which not only fit to the time, but also develop a wide array of skills which focus both on the physical and the mental aspects of the child. So modern games are designed in such a way that it fits to the current living situation. So the children do have very less time these days. At the same time, they do prefer to stay indoors and play. And modern games are designed in such a way that to satisfy these types of children, skill provided to these types of children, and it's best possible by modern games. Now, when it goes to the traditional games, we have it's played mostly outdoors. A lot of members are involved in it. And there will be ample opportunity for each member to interact with the others equally, deeply, and closely. Now, almost all these traditional games are primarily based on competition. It nurtures cooperation skills too. No, we do have cooperation and competition equally important. We need a competition, we need cooperation equally important in today's life. These are the skills which we need. We need communication skills, we need problem solving skills, we need socializing skills. All these skills are integrated in the traditional games. Now, we do have a last sentence. The critics also say that instead of spoiling health playing with the technological gadgets, better to play traditional games instead of spoiling health playing technological gadgets. Now, if you are playing technological gadgets, you'll be having some health problems. Sometimes you may have vision problems. Sometimes you may have problems like obesity and all these things. No, because you stay indoors for a longer time, you have no or less physical activity. So it's better to have traditional games. So this is what we can see here. Now let's go ahead with my opinion. Traditional games not only offer children opportunity to gain necessary skills, but also are less risky. You know that traditional games are less risky, and you can say that it provides a greater opportunity to gain necessary skills. This is my opinion. To conclude, though modern games play an integral part in skill deliverance to children, I believe if situations allow, playing traditional games is better for children. So you have situations, if you do have favorable situations, like if you have a lot of time, if you have a lot of friends, if you have a large playground, it's always better to play traditional games. If conditions are favorable, it's always better to play traditional games than the modern games. This is what my opinion is. I have said at the last here. Now the total word count is 278. Let's look at the question once again and we move on to the second response. Some people think that modern games can help children to develop a wide range of skills, but others think that traditional games can be much better for developing such skills. So we go with response number 2. In response number 2, we go with in favor of modern games. So let's go with this thing here in favor of modern games. It's a debatable topic whether modern games or traditional games play a greater role in developing essential skills in children. I feel in this present scenario, the former argument has more gravity. Yes, in this current situation, in this present scenario, we do have modern games as more important. And this is what we said in the introduction. Now we have two specific paragraphs objectively said. On the one hand, the proponents of traditional games focus on the natural ways those games are played, which they believe help children to be a part of the nature and assist them to act responsibly in his surroundings. Now, we have said the traditional games in the first paragraph. This is something which is supporting the traditional games. They said the subject here is the subject, the proponents of traditional games. Now others feel. Now we have the subject number one here, subject number two here. They focus on the natural ways those games are played. And they believe help children to be a part of the nature and assist them to act responsibly to the surroundings. Now the others feel that modern man has become more complex and hence his games too have to be modified. Now we do have two opposing arguments here. So let's go with the traditional thing. They are simple, closely related to everyday social activities. This helped to develop essential skills such as communication, cooperation, and problem solving, which can help them to be a responsible citizen of his society. This is presented so simple. Now, when we go ahead with the modern games, on the other hand, you can see the lifestyle of modern man has become more complex. To be clearer, unlike the past, today's children would not get enough time to play when compared to the past. Now I can say in such a situation, there are time-based modern games which focus on specific skills. For instance, if a child needs to focus on his athletic skills, there are games which are designed in a systematic way. Similarly, if he needs to enrich his intellectual skills, there are a range of modern games with technical assistance which can help him. Now, we do have technical assistance too. We have involved that too. Intellectual skill development is possible. Physical skill development is possible. All these things can be possible by modern games when compared to the traditional games. And what we have said here is we are focusing more on the modern games. Let's see my opinion. Since the lifestyle of modern man is entirely different from the past, today's children are more likely to get adjusted to modern games, which open them a wide range of opportunities to learn essential skills. Now, this is my personal opinion. You have a modern lifestyle, we have to get adjusted with the modern lifestyle, and similarly, we need to get adjusted to the modern games too, and this gives you a wider opportunity to learn skills which are much essential to the modern society. Now, to conclude, though traditional games have their own significance in teaching children skills, it's clear that modern games can teach children skills better and faster. That we have the swiftness there in the modern games. We need a lot of time to play traditional games, but we don't. We can play instant games, virtual games. All these themes are possible, even if there are not. We don't have a lot of members to play. It's possible to play modern games. So we do have a lot of advantages. You can play it better. You can play it faster than the traditional games, and this is what response number 2. Now let's go with response number 3. And in response number 3, we have not said in both views favor. We do have a different presentation here. Let's go with that. This is response number 3. There is no doubt that games play a vital role in skill development of a child. While some opine that modern games can help children develop such skills, others feel that traditional games can play a better role. So in this particular case, I have said 3 sentences in the introduction. The first sentence I have said that games play a vital role in the skill development of a child. Some say modern games, others say traditional games. I feel both types of games cannot be comparable since these represent two distinct lifestyles. You have a traditional lifestyle, we have the modern lifestyle. We have two distinct lifestyles. Now we have the first particular paragraph. The predominant reason behind the former group's view is because of the variety which modern games offer to children, which can be most suited to the modern lifestyle. Now we have the former view and the latter view. The former view is addressed here. That's modern games. It's most suited because it fits to the lifestyle. It can be indoor, it can be outdoor. Modern games often offer a provision of a range of skills focused on physical, emotional, and intellectual capacities. Example, soccer enhances a child's physical endurance, teamwork, and communication. Even critics of computer games agree that it fosters a child's intellectual capacity and sharpness. And this is discussed in the first particular paragraph, the benefits of or the way which modern games are enriching the skills of a child is mentioned in the first paragraph. Moving towards the second, others feel that traditional games can perform better, and this is because of the increased social involvement. You have a lot of people, and this nurtures the socializing skills, and this is needed for the survival. For instance, there were a lot of traditional games which were related to agriculture and cultivation, which made children physically and mentally fit to take up related works in their future. We have said this in the past tense. We have said the first paragraph in the present tense. We have said what happened in the past tense in the second paragraph, because we are going to tell that these two things are different. So let's see that. After discussing both views in detail, the first view where we have discussed the modern games, the second view where we have discussed the traditional view, I feel both types of games are designed for the situations of different time frames. In other words, traditional games helped children a great way in developing their skills in the past. Modern games are doing it much better at present. You can say in the past, traditional games were the best in developing skills of those the children of those times. They did the best at their time, and the modern games are doing it in a better way at present. So I can say that traditional games were designed to those gone ages, and the modern games are designed for the people who or the children who live in the present. And this is what we have said in part 3. So we have said 3 specific responses: response number 1, 2, and 3. I hope you must have understood these things. We can write answer any way. You can say, you can align to the first view, you can align to the second view, you can say no, I do see these things separate. So you can do, it's your wish, because it's an opinion discussion question. So make the presentation well based on your ideas generated. Thank you. Have a nice day.